this is our arc window measuring device, and this is a great tool for whenever you have to measure an arc window. The way that this works, it clamps onto the window, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Each one of these points here, A through S, is marked with a hole, and each hole is 10 degrees apart. And then we have a ruler here. This piece goes up to 24 inches. This other piece goes up to 48. And we have a little connector here that connects both of the pieces together. And you want to make sure that when you use this, that it's properly clamped down to the window. One thing I do want to mention, when you first get this, before you put these set screws on, before you connect the two pieces, you'll want to make sure that these set screws can be turned by hand. You never want to attach these two pieces using a pair of pliers. So go ahead and when you first open it, put the screws in there. If they're too tight, just take a pair of pliers and go ahead and twist that down until it feeds all the way through. And again, the purpose for this is just to loosen up that hole. And do that with both of them. If you're measuring a window that's radius is larger than the 24 inches, you'll connect these two pieces together. So we'll put the set screws in, and we'll tighten them down just enough so that we can get them started here. And I've already loosened up these holes. Very important when you're on the job site, you don't want to tighten them down with pliers. Okay, this piece slides right over that. These two pieces hook together. You want to make sure that they're tight. And once you get that tightened down, then you've extended it. And that's how you use the extension. The device comes with a sheet of instructions, everything you need to know to use the system. And it also comes with a packet of measuring sheets. They have the customer's name, the room, and the window number if you're measuring more than one window. And there are two identical charts on each page. And this device has a pin on the back of it, and after you get this on the window, you just simply use the pin and record your measurements. Now this little sample here is my window. What you'll want to do is mark the center of this, so you'll take your tape, and I've pre-marked this. I've got a tiny little mark there. Now when you're on the job site, you can use one of our purple erasable marking pens because it won't leave a mark on the window or the wall. There's my tiny little mark. I'm going to line this up and put my mark on it. Then you'll want to take the device, and this little cutout here is the exact center. You'll notice these mounting blocks on the back. Now when you mount this on the window, you can either use our quick release clamps and actually clamp it to the window, or you can use our aluminum head push pins. I prefer the push pins because you can push them right into the window and they won't really damage it. They leave a tiny little hole. And in my installation kit, I always carry some putty anyway, so you can putty up those holes. But we're going to put them in, and you may have to hammer them in a little bit. You want to make sure that this device is secure. Okay, right in the center. And this wing nut here you can loosen, and this will move the device to measure each measurement. Now, the measurements along the ruler part are set in 1/8 increments. So what you'll do is you'll start out with A, put this in the hole, find you don't need to tighten this down, it should stay for you, and then record the measurement on your sheet. Now you'll want to make sure when you're doing this that you mark whether or not this window treatment is an inside measurement or an outside measurement. If I were measuring for an inside measurement, I would be looking down here. If it's an outside measurement, I would want to be measuring here. Now, the beauty of this tool is it eliminates the need for making a template on site. So I would go through each one of these holes and measure accordingly. One thing you want to keep in mind when you're reading this, you want to make sure you're looking at it at eye level. If you're standing above it and looking or below it and looking, you may get an inaccurate reading. So you'll go ahead and measure all the way around and then record on your measurement sheet. And the nice thing too is if your workroom has one of these, you can actually use this to have them make the paper pattern for their project.